And it's once again enormous warm terska to all of you. My name is Touhou, and where the fuck are we and what the fuck are we actually playing? Well, let me tell you a story. Years ago, many years ago, over 5 years ago, maybe even like 8 years ago. Yeah, it's gotta be like 8 years ago. About. After I had played the original stretch of my Touhou marathon, the original one in Finnish, I had an idea in which I would play Touhou fan games in rapid succession. I had a long list of fan games I wanted to get through, and I got to it. And that series is what the Touhou New World playthrough was part of, and also the series which finally prompted me to switch from English, from Finnish to English in my commentary videos. But before I did the original switch, I had played a game called Touhou Blizzard of Faith and Revenge. And let me tell you, that game was the first ever JRPG I had ever played. And first ever first ever game with turn-based combat I had ever played. So, apologies if this first episode of us returning to this game is gonna be mostly with just me yapping, but I just gotta bring you up to speed. This was the first JRPG I had ever played, so I had no idea what I was getting into. So when I picked this from the list, I just thought, well, it's probably gonna be like Touhou fan games aren't anything long. I'm probably gonna play this like 10 hours at most, pump out a couple of videos and be done with it and move on to the next game on the list. But little did I know, this game, you can go on my channel and look back, and you will find all those Blizzard of Faith and Revenge videos I made, and you can see that there are a lot of them. But that length that I had in gameplay videos alone compares nothing to the whole length of the game, because in those videos you don't see me grinding, you don't see me crafting, all this kind of side stuff I left out, and in total this game probably went for over 50 hours. Easily, maybe even like 70. Like, my god, was there stuff in this game. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, this game grabbed me by the balls and squeezed. And yeah, I thought that I was getting into something casual and easy, but no. I went into this game and promptly got my ass beat. But I didn't give up and I got good. And yeah, we eventually beat the final boss, or at least what I thought was the final boss, Rinosuke, from which the legendary AWP Rinosuke is from, but turns out that was only the halfway point of the game, and then we got into the post-story, and my god, this game hold no punches. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, some of these bosses were difficult. And then, when we had finally beat every single boss in the post-story, we got this room, where we got our ass beat so hard I didn't even bother with any of these guys here, and went into the final mission, which is where I found out that if you actually want to beat the final true ending of this game, you have to go You have to beat this game on normal difficulty. There are two difficulties in this game, easy and normal, and of course, because I had never played JRPGs before, I had picked easy. So imagine my joy when I had learned that I had screwed myself over from the very beginning. We weren't going to be able to see the final ending, or the true ending, so we had to settle for another ending. And I made a promise. I made a promise that one day I would return to this game, I would make a new save, play it on my own, and when I was ready, we would actually go and see the final true ending of this game. And here we are! I began this playthrough on my own, like, about, I'd say, 4 years ago, maybe 5 even? I played until Suika's boss, and then forgot about this for such a long time. I didn't even think about this shit, because this game, when you play it, you don't just go in and have a bit of entertainment for an hour or two. No, this game is a commitment. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, this game is commitment. And I had forgot about this for a long time, until this summer, when the Elden Ring's DLC dropped, and I consumed it. I devoured it, and after that I was left feeling empty, because, well, there wasn't really any other games for me to play at the time, and I was like, what am I gonna do right now? And then I remembered Blizzard of Faith and Revenge and realized how perfect of a time it would be for me to actually tackle this save file. So I returned and had forgot everything about this game, and it took me a while to actually get in the grips with it, with the mechanics again, but I struggled and I struggled and I struggled, but eventually we find ourselves here again in this fucking room with these 4 assholes and the final 5th gone, because off camera I beat these fuckers. I beat every single one of these, and just as a proof, there it is. For every character I have the special equipment. I don't have it equipped on Alice because teleport charm is better for her, because agility in this game is worth its weight in gold. But my god, did I struggle, because at first it felt like the normal mode in this game was basically just the same as easy mode, with you not having some starting equipment that could snowball you into a complete beast as you craft better and better equipment. No, in this game, in normal mode you don't have that, so you have to grind a lot more. I also think the XP gain you have is lower. I'm not sure, but it felt like it, because I had to grind like an awful lot. In our original playthrough, we were about level 71 when we finished the game. Now, we haven't even began the final stretch, and we are level 77. So yeah, that gives you an idea. Byakuren, or Myoren boss, if there is anyone who has watched the original series I made about this game, they may remember that Byakuren was a boss I really struggled with. Or not really struggled with, but yeah, struggled more than with most. And it remained true. On normal mode, in the post-story bosses, I really started to feel the difficulty increase, because my god, those bosses could one-shot you out of nowhere. There was very little you could do except to play perfectly and pray that RNG is on your side. But nothing prepared me for when I went into Satori's boss, because a little context. In these games, bosses mostly are one-on-one, maybe sometimes two, or well, we count player as one here. I have 4 characters, but I count myself as one. So yeah, usually it is one-on-one, maybe sometimes 2-on-1, and in one case it is 3-on-1 against Yukari, Shen, and Ran at the same time. But Satori's boss is a 4-on-1 or 4-on-4 in this case. You have Satori, Koichi, Orin, and Utsuho. And it sounds like a clusterfuck at first, but it is actually at first quite manageable, because the trick is in this game, I have to explain all this. In this game, the main mechanic, late game mechanic, is an SP drain, because like you, bosses also have HP and SP, spell points, you probably are supposed to call them, and they can't cast spells if they are out of SP. And in this game, there are spells. I'll show Patchouli because she has the most. The first is Phlogistic Pillar. This completely drains SP from your opponent. And then there's no wait, hold on, was it? Yeah, and then there's Astronomical Entombing, which also does the same, but better. And then Flandre also has a lot of SP draining abilities, but the point is, if you want to defeat the post-story bosses, you had to keep them SP stunned, meaning you drain their SP, damage them, and the moment they use their SP recovery move, you have an Astronomical Entombing ready to go, and you drain them again, which basically leaves them in an infinite loop where they just refill their SP, you drain it, they refill it again, you drain it, and you just they, in best case scenario, they never get to even throw a hit. Mima got absolutely fucking wiped. I perfected that, and yeah, that's the main thing. But in the very, very late game, meaning beginning with Satori, Utsuho and Orin are perfectly okay to deal with that SP stun. They cannot cast spells if they don't have SP. Koichi is the same, and you can ignore Koichi in that boss for the most part, because she will not attack you until you attack her, which is... It sounds kinda good to know, but in this game the best spells you have are all multi-targeted, so you will just end up hitting her all the moment you start the fight anyway, so there's no need to even try to avoid her. But the main thing about that fight is Satori herself, because she will not attack you until you reach a certain health threshold, and usually by then it is only just her and Koichi alive, and Koichi is not hard to deal with, you can keep her SP stunned. But Satori doesn't need SP. What Satori does is that she just casts spells anyway. And what she does at certain point of the fight is, because she copies your own spells from your characters, and what she does at a certain point of the fight is she will cast Patchouli's Philosopher's Stone. And what that does is that it basically supercharges all her stats and doubles her HP. And she already had over 50 million HP. and she doubles whatever it is she had left, and boosts everything other of her stats. And I struggled. My God, I struggled because the strategy then should have been Alice, because Alice's let me show you the main weapon. Oh yeah. The main weapon Alice, the final weapon Alice has, is inanimate invisible double. And what that does is, when Alice basic attacks an enemy, it damages their action gauge. Because in this game, every time you cast a spell, and after it, you have to wait a certain amount of time based on your agility, after which you can choose another spell to drop into the queue. And that's your action gauge, and bosses have one as well, but you cannot see it. However, Alice's attacks can damage that action gauge, and Satori is, because she can cast spells without SP, that action gauge damage is the only thing you can, only thing that can keep her held back, so to say. And the trouble is, she has spells that can stun lock your whole team, and if she casts one, it is GG. And I didn't have that weapon when I went to challenge Satori. And yeah, let me just say, I was fucked. I was majorly fucked. But eventually we pulled through. And then found ourselves here. Now, these 4 guys that you see are the self-inserts or avatars of the developers of the game, and you had the optional choice of challenging them for powerful equipment for your characters. However, they are not mandatory, and you can just forget about them and go and finish the game. The first time I played, I got my ass completely handed to me, and I decided it was not worth it. Trouble, and I'm just gonna go and finish the game. This time, however, knowing how difficult the game had been thus far, I decided that we would defeat at least one. And I started with this guy, because according to a guide, he was the well, not the easiest, but the most the one you want to deal with first, because he dropped Flandre's special equipment, which basically allows her Leviathan spell to ignite your enemies, including bosses, but also it will keep casting Leviathan for as long as you have SP left. So it's basic. It basically doubles our attack, or doubles Flandre's damage output, while also increasing her DPS a whole lot. After that, I mean, this one was a struggle. It took me a whole good fucking long, a whole day to finally beat this guy, because this guy has one attack that hits all your party members, and at first it isn't bad, because the first time it casts, it doesn't deal that much damage, but it does leave some kind of a debuff onto your characters, and when he casts it again, it triggers something, and it's basically a whole party wipeout if you don't have a Philosopher's Stone on Patchouli. So yeah, that was something to look out for, because it's basically instant kill. Then we went to this guy, or girl, and I was oh yeah, this guy had 80 million HP. So when we went to this, first try, the first spell she cast was an instant kill for the whole party, which you cannot defend against. and I got instantly killed, and I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna try this today, tomorrow it is. And when I came back tomorrow, surprise, I got this in the first try, because turns out she only has 40 million HP, only half what he has. And the whole idea here is that you basically have to pray she doesn't cast that instant kill move and you're all golden. Just keep whacking at her and she will eventually die. Then from her we got Alice's special equipment, but that was basically useless. Haste is much more valuable on him. And then we got to him, and he was a different kind of a beast. He only had 50 million HP, which is still a huge sum, but nothing like 80 million, like this guy had. And the trouble is, he starts the match with a curse move, which basically, which in its simplicity, it leaves your whole party at 1 HP and 1 SP. You cannot raise that until that status effect is cleared. And you just have to pray that it clears, because it is mostly RNG based, before he wipes you out. And he can cast it multiple times in a single fight, so yeah. That was pain, until I realized you can keep him SP stunned, which I promptly took an advantage of and shat all over his cereal. But yeah, after those three, I was feeling pretty fucking confident. Only this girl remained. And the music stopped at a perfect moment. Because this girl, she also had 80 million HP, like he did, but she had a whole lot of... basically, if you went into her fight, I think it was her fight, if you cast Philosopher's Stone on Patchouli, she would insta-kill, she would just kill herself. So yeah, Philosopher's Stone, no-go. She was quick as fuck. Some bosses you can stun lock with Alice's action gauge damage, but she is too fast. No chance. And she had, I think, 2 or 3 insta-kill moves that can wipe out your whole party. And the only chance for you to win against those was to predict when one was coming and then defend with either Flandre or Patchouli and just pray you can tank the damage. Most of the time you couldn't. And this fight nearly broke me. Like, when I had beaten Radahn in Elden Ring DLC's Elden Ring DLC, the final boss of the DLC, that was easily the hardest fight I have ever fought in a video game ever. But then I got to her, and she nearly just broke me completely. The sheer euphoria I felt when I finally saw, when it was my turn to cast a spell, and I saw her health bar no longer had a sliver of that orange bar left, and know that it was like maybe less than 1 million HP left, and I had Flandre ready, 3000 SP in my bank, and Levatine 3 times in a row, and I hear the sound of your enemy going down. I had never felt that good. Not when I beat Radahn, not when I have beat any boss ever. That fight was easily the hardest I've ever done. And already, if you have survived me yapping this long, I tell you, go and download this game. This game is free. There's a download link in Touhou Wiki. Play this game and beat this girl. She also has 2 forms. The main form, which is her standard form, which is also ironically the more dangerous one, it has an amazing theme. And then her second form, it looks intimidating, but is also the easier one. You will wish she stays in that form for as long as possible, but my god, that boss was something else. When I first challenged her and saw that when I died I had not got through even 1/5 of her health bar, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen, I'm never gonna beat her. But eventually she bowed. And the last guy left was a 5th guy, but she had as much HP as this girl had, and I nearly actually got her on my first attempt, but when I realized that the game didn't require for you to beat her in order for you to get her dropped, then I just said, screw it, I'm not gonna waste my time anymore. I felt vindicated enough with beating her. I'm just gonna grab whatever she has to drop and get the fuck out of here. So yeah, up to speed are we all? Good, because I'm gonna drop an out there and then another save here. And yeah, there is nothing else for us to do in this game anymore. I'm gonna walk out from this room and showcase you a little bit about how this game works. We have attack, spell, defend, item, flee. And flee works about 10% of the time. I don't even know why there is an option to flee in this game, but yeah. Really early game enemies, this one.